With Iris Show. With Iris Show. Sometimes it's good to just yell about football. What are you doing? Don't do this to me, Harry! The Ohio State. It's Ohio State! What do you mean, the? It's a poison. I almost stroked out and died over it. I'm glad to be at the party. I'm mad we're this late. You ain't a captain of nothing but a sinking ship. That helps the defense without them even doing a damn thing. Doing a damn thing. The call-in line. 312-988-15. You tell Johnny all you've heard and seen. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Oh, Irish. Irish. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm telling you guys what. I need this buy so bad. You have no idea. Like, I'm on empty. I'm enjoying the hell out of this right now. Like, I need the buy. I just think we all need the buy. Like, we all want to say these players and coaches need the buy, and they do in a different way. We needed the buy, damn it. Like, I'm on empty after this last month. I admit it. So I'm in a great mood now, but I know that I need the buy. Like, my brain needs the buy. My central nervous system needs the buy. My heart and brain and hairline need the buy. It's just such a deep breath, like exhale, just a total, like, from everybody who has Notre Dame interests, it's just this. It was exactly what we needed. And the fact that it ended up being lopsided and not a last second field goal is just like furthering that. Like it's just exactly what we needed at exactly the right time to be able to pull this ship when the front of it was starting to take on water and just pump it out, seal the hole, and the ship goes back above the water line. It was so needed. I'm just so relieved that we're there. And now, don't mistake me. Don't get me backwards or sideways here. You know, Notre Dame's not a finished product. They're not good enough. They're not winning a championship this year. There's still things that are a big picture issue. All of that's true. You know me. All of that's true. But it's like, damn, can I just have a day or two here to enjoy what we did to USC? Enjoy the fact that the Bears had all their front office there to watch Caleb Williams shred up Notre Dame? And he looked like dog poop. Can a brother just enjoy that for a couple days before I got to start racking my brain about why Notre Dame's offense is still horrible? Over the last 4 weeks, you guys, over the last 4 weeks, Notre Dame's offense is 29% at converting third downs, 122nd out of 130 teams in the country. You got problems, bro. You got serious offensive issues that offend me. Talking about offense, that offends me. However, man, we got to be able to separate this into enjoying what we did and then getting serious about where we need to take advantage of the bye. And so I'm hoping maybe with the extended time between now and the next game, we could enjoy what we did against USC, and then maybe for a little bit longer, give me what I can get that's good as a Notre Dame fan. And then I imagine next week's going to be heavy on what we need to see this offense change and look different and all that. So that's kind of where I'm at, but I'm in a good mood and nothing's taking the smile off my face. And that's just where we're starting from. So I want to take your calls. There's some regulars here on the line, and I want to get your guys' thoughts after a couple days out of this game. It's the buy. I've had a lot of people tell me going into USC, John, I love your show, but Notre Dame's taking a toll on my brain. I got to check out till after the buy. I get it. You got to do what you got to do. I totally understand it. So thank you guys for being here. Obviously, you could, Roger, you're a nice guy, man. Congratulations, ND, for winning over SC. Good game. Roger Dodger, you're here for most of my chats. You support the other people that I'm friends with that do chats, like Pigskin Pete for Clemson. You're a good guy, so I appreciate that. Obviously, you can find a program on YouTube. Do it. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Appreciate it. Give the video a thumbs up. That helps me as well. Notifications on that way you alerted every time a new episode drops. I know you don't want to miss it. Twitter, search bar Always Irish Rat. Always Irish Inc. Emails alwaysirishindy@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want it. You can get it. The call-in lines 312-988-15. Tell Johnny all you've heard and seen about Notre Dame beating up USC. Instagram, Facebook, Always Irish Inc. USA Today, Fighting Irish Wire. Read all about it. We got articles for you. Link to the store in the description if you want to get a t-shirt or a hat after a big win. Go for it. The connectivity to YouTube, I got a back-end compatibility issue between my Google Merchant account and hooking it up to YouTube. I got to figure all that out. If anybody's an expert at the Google Merch stuff, reach out to me. I could use the help. I'm trying to troubleshoot. So it should be connected to YouTube sometime again, but I got to work on whatever's triggering it to not sync up right. It's always something with me. Whenever I think I'm done with the project, there's always something. And so, man, you guys, you want to talk about gotta have it, need to have it in the worst way, like questions up and down, left and right about everything. And you got it. And not only did you get it, but it was emphatic. Like that's what's starting to get me. The relief of just winning it was like immediate. But now I'm looking at it as it means even more to me that you didn't just squeak by, but you made that one look dominant, defensively especially. It's just exactly what Notre Dame called for, and you needed it. And the guys delivered, and they deserve a lot of credit, especially the defense and Al Golden. It was just a great performance. And I got to ask this. Somebody at the game, tell me if this was true. If it's true, I got to give Notre Dame a lot of credit. If it's true, I saw some videos. Somebody at the game, Adam, somebody tell me if this was true. Adam, I know you were on the field. Your wife was super chatting me saying, Adam can't call you right now. He's on the field celebrating. If this is true, I'm going to give Notre Dame credit for getting way more modern. Okay. I saw the videos of the field rush and that guy that was trolling Williams and all that running out there. If I'm not mistaken, the song California Love by Dr. Dre and Tupac was blasting on the PA while we were celebrating on the field. I got it. Somebody verified that I didn't hear that wrong, but I swear while the field rush was going on, they were playing California Love. Adam saying yes. I got to give Notre Dame credit. They're starting to get it, that there's more to this than playing it straight. You can clown people. You can troll people. It's amazing. Like, I ripped Notre Dame for being so by the book and welcome to Notre Dame. You know, all this, like, we treat everybody like too nice. Like, I like how much class Notre Dame has, that you don't have to worry about getting beat up, taking a leak at the game at Notre Dame because our fans. I never want that environment, like a trash ball Miami environment, all of that, where it's not even safe to go there because of the swamp creatures that come out and go to the games and want to fight everybody. But I mean, innocent trolling. Dude, This morning, I got so excited when I watched the video of the kid that ran up behind Williams, and in the backdrop, I hear that beat, that bomb beat from Dre, and I just lost it. I started laughing. I'm like, dude, Notre Dame, whoever's in that booth is actually getting it now, that it's fun and that you get to pile on and you get to do that stuff. Somebody says outdated. You will not besmirch that song from my childhood ever. You will not. That is one of my favorite beats of all time. Just when Tupac drops in it, his verse is beautiful. Like, I've loved that song since I was in like 8th grade. To hear it played blasting, bro, it was just the cherry on top to me. And I don't care if that's immature. I don't care if it doesn't matter to you. It made me so happy. Like, just to hear that, bro. That song's never outdated to me. You hear that beat and it's just like, let's go. I love it. It's beautiful. Credit to Notre Dame for playing that right and actually trolling somebody the right way. God, that's beautiful. They're losing. They're all miserable going off the field and you're blasting that song. I got to give Notre Dame credit on that. Good job. I love that so much. That's never going to get old. Let's go over a couple chats, and then I'm going to get the callers in early and let you guys do this. I got some stuff to do today. We'll see how long we're going to go today. On the bye week, we have a little more flexibility here to catch our breath and for me to work on some other things, try and figure out how to get the store back up on YouTube, whatever. I'm not kidding. If anybody's a Google merchant account expert, email me. I could use somebody I trust to help me navigate all those settings and all the BS. All right, I'm going to go over some chats, and then I'm going to give you guys the line. I don't want to get too far behind in the chats because then you never catch up. Mark with glasses, the manufacturer of the Victory Pimp Chain. I should just be happy about whooping USC, but instead I'm half happy and half pissed about having Ohio State beaten and losing in the no-show in Louisville. Mark, 100% justified feelings. 100% justified feelings. And I actually have a YouTube short addressing this exact topic coming out today or probably tomorrow. Yes. You're absolutely right. You know, you get that win and then you look at what it could be or what it would have been. Not even if you just had the Ohio State nightmare and then won the other one. You didn't even have to be undefeated for this to be a bigger moment. You could have had 1-1 even and it wasn't. Totally understand the frustration. I obviously share it as well. But there's nothing Notre Dame could do Saturday night to undo the mistakes that were made against Ohio State and no showing against Louisville. That's the way you got to look at it. I'm super frustrated about it. You only get 12 of them. You can't mess them up at the end. You got to win them, with Ohio State, and then you got to show up to win one against Louisville. Can't just roll the ball out there and you have a gold element, you're going to win. And that's how it felt like they approached the game and it burned them. However, there ain't a damn thing any of our guys could do about that Saturday night. The best thing Notre Dame could do Saturday night to improve their immediate and long-term circumstances was find any way possible to beat USC. That's the only thing they could have done. Not only did they do that, but they kind of embarrassed them while doing it. So they did that on steroids. And Saturday night, that's all I could ask for. Bigger picture, you got to look into the reasons you no-showed against Louisville over the bye. You got to look at the decisions and what happened against Ohio State. Also in the bye, maybe you should buy yourself an offense. Like, I realize you can't come out of the bye and have a totally magic new offense that looks totally different than anything we've been running. Like, I know you can't do that. You need to do something. You need to do something. The offense is poopy. It ain't good. It ain't good. So I at least have hope some things could be adjusted over the bye with the offense, because that needs to be the number one practical priority other than getting healthy and resting up. You need to figure out different ways to present these looks and be more efficient and effective at what you're doing. It's rough. It's rough. Call lines lining up. I'll get right to you, Pat. Oh, you know what? Something else I got to say. I want to thank everybody for Saturday night. That was a really needed group celebration party that I needed, and we all needed it. It's a tough grind when you have 2 out of the 3 last weeks have been really rough losses, and then the stress of the Duke game, and then there were some long nights for all of us and me on that call-in show. It was so great to celebrate with you guys and just have everybody be happy, and you could hear it in people's voices. People donated out the wazoo to keep this show going and the phone lines cranked. It means the world to me. I am going to announce this, though. Maybe somebody in here could help me with this. I missed this chat when I was on calls trying to navigate stuff. Pat went to the bathroom or to get a beer, and I missed this. If anybody saw this or knows who it is or you're in here today, let me know. Somebody alerted me that somebody wrote in the chat, we're on the call line waiting, and my 12-year-old grandson's all excited and he wants to talk to you about this game. I think I missed that. I didn't see that message, and I'm doubting I got to that call because I didn't hear anybody say that was the dynamic. I feel bad about that. If there was a 12-year-old kid that was excited to call this show, I feel really crappy that I didn't get that kid in. If anybody knows who that was, or the grandpa or whoever it is that was typing it up or whatever, reach out to me and I will find a moment for that kid to get on the air and make it his moment. So I feel bad about that. I missed it. I think it was my mom who actually said, John, did you see that Pat was up and moving around? You were busy. If anybody could find who that is, let me know, because I'd like to get that kid on the air and give him the time. That's what this is all about. I'm sad that I missed it. Just wanted to throw that out there, okay? Andrew Gilmore. Mark, at least the win showed Freeman can outcoach a great mind like Riley. In fact, I was shocked by how USC's offense looked. It was all Williams improvising. ND took care of that. Yeah, and you wonder if, arrogance comes with USC. That's the DNA of their program. And I'm wondering if they had a little bit of, ND isn't good this year. We rolled them last year. We're going to go in there. Williams is just going to work his magic and do whatever he wants to do. And then you figured out the hard way, like Notre Dame did the week before, that wasn't going to work. Great job by Notre Dame's defensive staff. And those guys were flying around, and it was just heartwarming to see. How did Branch only have 2 runs and 2 catches? He should be the focal point of USC. That was stupid. Was he injured? All morning I read, doesn't look like Branch is from the USC people. You know, I followed the Twitter accounts of the team we're playing in the media leading into the game, right after the game, and then I unfollow them when they're no longer my problem, and I don't want my feed cluttered with their bullshit that I don't care about. All morning, they're saying Branch might not play. Branch might not play. Not out there for early warm-ups. Doesn't look like Branch is going to. I'm thinking, good. I don't have to worry about that dude returning kicks and what he could do in the pass game and all that. So all leading up to the game all day, he ain't going to play. He's not even out there for warm-ups. And sure enough, we kick it off, and it's right to that guy. So I don't know if maybe he wasn't injured or they wanted to slow play, that he was back. I don't know what it was. But I'm glad he didn't burn us too bad. No matter what happens to USC the rest of the year, this is Freeman's biggest win at ND. Now he has a shot to go 10-2, get an extension. The extension means he could start a young QB. I get what you're saying with that leeway, with the leeway there, and the understanding that if you're going to start a younger guy, there's a learning curve there. Just like we're struggling to understand Marcus Freeman's learning curve and be patient with it. And I admit I am too. There's certain things I have patience for and others I don't. Not counting to 11, no, I don't have patience for that because that's outside the scope of reasonable learning curve stuff. The last offensive and defensive drive with Ohio State, no, bro, that's outside the lane. of reasonable learning curve stuff. Don't like it. But the 10-2 thing, that's where my mind's starting to go to. Clemson is going to be a tough game no matter what you think of Clemson. You don't think they're good this year? They're not great? Yeah, I agree with you, but it's going to be a tough physical ball game when you're at their place. Just book it. It's going to be that. But you're in a lot better position to navigate the back end of this schedule than you were the beginning half with 8 games in a row. Pitt's a pain in the ass. Pitt's weird with Notre Dame. Sometimes they're no good at all. Sometimes they're a naggy pain in the ass. And they just beat Louisville, just beat the brakes off you. So I don't know. Put that in your head. Pitt, Clemson, by Wake, Stanford. Like, bro, you gotta get it. It's got to be 10-2, bro. And it's right there for you. You got a couple breaks in here. This part of the schedule is nothing compared to what you just went through overall and what you're getting hit with in a row. That needs to be the focus now, sealing this thing up at 10-2. And then we all lay there and go, what could have been if we had just showed up against Louisville and did the right things against Ohio State? Fine. But the reality is, if Notre Dame's offense was going to devolve into what it's devolved into, you weren't winning a playoff game no matter what. Like, I'm dead serious. Even if you found a way to win those 2 games we lost, if the offense looked like this, big deal. You're going to get embarrassed in the playoff. You have no chance in a playoff game playing offense the way we are. So if you want to think about it that way, go for it. But come on, bro. We're not winning any playoff game with the offense we're running right now and the efficiency. There's just no way. All right, I'm going to get into the calls. I'll get back to some of these chats. I'll highlight them. I want to let you guys get in. Mikey Pulls, my security guard. Good to see you. Good morning, John. This win feels so damn good. But at the same time, I'm sad that the potential of the team to be wasted by 2 losses, it shouldn't happen. I think I just gave you the answer. Look at it that way. Even if we would have won those 2, the offense would still be bad and you're not winning a playoff game. Like, I'm sorry. You're just not. You're not. And I mean, I guess you could say the defense could get 4, turnovers or whatever. But what are the odds of that? I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. Andrew's been on that extension thing. Do you think he'll get an extension after going 10-2 on year 2 of a current 6-year deal? I think that's a fair question. Mike, I get it. But if you think ND has the O to keep up with Oregon or Washington, what about Florida State? ND needs a new offense, upgraded skill tap before they can make that. That's kind of exactly what I was just saying. Like, you're not going to feel better about Louisville and Ohio State as a Notre Dame guy. You're not. Nothing's going to make you have comfort with the way those contests went. Notre Dame's offense isn't winning a playoff game. You have no chance to do that. The offense is nowhere near, like, when I look at how we're running offense and then I look at, like, decent offense, I can't even see that from where we're sitting. It ain't good. It ain't good, bro. So I don't know. It's just, it's not ideal. If Andy Ludwig was OC, I think ND beats Ohio State would be legitimate contenders. The current scheme stinks, which, to your point, is unfortunate. And I understand people are talking about Utah's offense isn't putting up that many points. Are you sure it would have been an improvement? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it would have been. Just because that guy has all that experience, he would have you in different situations. That's my thought. And the other thing is, it's really tough to nail Freeman on the Parker hire when we all know it wasn't who he wanted to hire. That's very, very tough. Like, that's what you want to yell about, the OC and all that. This was not who Freeman wanted to hire. He took the guy he wanted to hire on a very public date that we all saw. It's not who he wanted to hire, okay? So then he got put in a position where the house is on fire. The national media, not local, the national media is roasting you for being cheap and not paying up for football. Everybody's mad. He put out the fire. put out the fire. Not his guy. It's not the guy that he wanted. So it's a very, very tough dynamic with who you want to blame there. You could say, all right, he wanted Ludwig and the university shot it down. Too expensive. With the issues we had with that Notre Dame messed up and then it came to a head that it was too expensive. Fine. But what did you want Freeman to do? The house is burning and he didn't want to let it keep burning and just wanted to put out the fire and all that. But you got a note to protect Freeman on that side by saying that ain't the guy you wanted. So just saying. All right, let's get into a couple calls. I'll come back to the chats. Tom, what's going on? Good morning, my friend. What's up?
Hey, John. How are you?
You know what? I'm in a lot better mood than I've been the last few weeks, my friend. I'm enjoying the hell out of this one.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I think I had a great vantage point. I was sitting up just 7 rows above the student section in the corner of the end zone, and a couple of takeaways. I knew that if they went back to basics, they'd win that game, and that's what they did. I mean, nobody's talking about Al Golden. So my question right off the top is, why aren't they getting the ball deep? And that one post pattern they throw to Tyree, and it's the second biggest play of the game.
Yep, beautiful.
That play was open. That play was open about 50% of the time.
So, but
Merriweather
so then why aren't they doing it more then? Is it just
I can't figure it out. That's the thing. So that's why I love sitting up high corner of the end zone, because you could see both sidelines from that vantage point. And so I counted 4 or 5 times where a drag route and a couple of dig routes that were wide open, 15 yards deep, to Merriweather, Rico Flores, when Hartman's clearly looking for Mitchell Evans. I don't know. I just can't ascertain from that vantage point. Does it look like Hartman is audibling on the television broadcast? Because I didn't rewatch the game from Saturday.
I think that's one of the biggest complaints a lot of Notre Dame people have, is that you're not adjusting based on what the ultimate setup's going to look like with the numbers or checking in and out of stuff. And I thought that, Tom, isn't that why you have a 6th-year guy that you trust to be able to get up there and make those changes? Isn't that a part of it? It isn't just the physical stuff with the 6th-year guy. You got to trust Hartman to be able to look at the box and check in and out of stuff that you need or don't want. It's clunky, Tom. It's just a clunky operation.
Yeah, it is. So this all circles back then to Jared Parker, because if I'm on the field and I come off after a punt and we're sitting down, we're talking to the offense, we're talking to the offensive line, we're talking to Freeman on the sidelines, I can say, look, if I'm a receiver, I said, God damn it, I got this guy beat most of the night. So they started going away from running some of those dig routes and some of those not curl routes, but drag routes over the middle. And the buddy I was with coached football for 15 years, and we both saw it, and we're scratching our heads. So there's a disconnect between Parker and Freeman and Sam Hartman. So if I'm Hartman, he's got to be a little more insubordinate. I think he needs to be a little insubordinate and take the game into his hands, because he definitely has the experience. And it clearly shows that he can throw that deep ball. God, it's frustrating as hell to watch. So I really think if they tweak it, they're not that far away from being a more dynamic offense as it is now, though. God, you're right. I mean, I wouldn't want him in a playoff, John. I really wouldn't want him in a playoff.
Yeah, no, I mean,
So
you can't run. No, the offense, this is not a playoff competing offense at the moment. And even if you were undefeated,
no,
you would have these problems. We just feel a lot better about it. And Tom, here's the question I have is all Notre Dame fans, everybody doing what I do is going to go get into the bye and figure out your offense. That's where I struggle. What
yeah, me too.
What practically is reasonable for us to expect them to tweak and change about that offense in these 2 weeks? I want to be realistic about that because now's the opportunity to change things and adjust what you're doing. I just don't know how much of that we're going to see out of the bye, but I mean, it would be good to see something different. What could get done, Tom?
What's that? I didn't hear the last question.
I just said, what could get done in this bye with that offense to really make it more efficient coming out? Like I want to be realistic about it. You can't expect a whole new offense against Pitt, but like, what realistically could they do? Tweak some of the, what do you want them to do?
Well, here's the thing. I noticed they put some heavy sets in there with 3 tight ends. And they're pretty big specimens. So if you're gonna commit to running the football, I would open up more play action. Okay.
Yeah.
Because that big touchdown pass to Tyree came off of play action.
Yep.
And I do notice when they go zero backfield and they put 4 or 5 wide on the it's very, very predictable as to what they're doing. So I just don't know why they're not running more 12, 13 personnel and running 21 personnel with the 2-back set.
Here's the thing, Tom. When you have regular fans that have no playing or coaching or X's and O's schematic experience at all, and they all see Notre Dame line up, and you know exactly what plays being run and where and who it's going to and what. When regular fans are seeing that, that's a red flag, man. You're way too predictable and you're not efficient enough to say, we're running what we're running. We know, we're running it and we're going to be good at it anyways. We're not efficient enough at doing that to have that arrogance.
That's exactly right.
I get the argument of, I don't care if they know we're going to run. We're going to run it anyways and you're not going to stop us. Fine, but you better be able to do it. And we're not doing that. But
that's right.
Tom, regular fans could look at the way Notre Dame lines up and go, here we go. We're running right into a wall, into a bad numbers box, and it's going to be -2 yards. There's too much of that. How does Notre Dame not see that predictability when every idiot in America can, like me?
Well, I don't know. And see, so right there, it's just, as far as the assistant coaches go, but tip of the cap to Al Golden.
Yes.
So, all right. So he made his tweaks, right? Going forward. All right. Let's put the 4 and 5 man fronts up there and keep that guy in front of you, Caleb Williams. And boy, that was a joy to watch. So here's my question. Does Al Golden, with the youth on that team, especially on the defensive side of the ball, the guys that are coming back, does he stick around for another year, or is he gone at the end of the year? Is he going to put up with that again?
Yeah.
And I wish, I kind of hope now after seeing that he's letting the big dogs hunt. I'd like to see him hang one more year. I really would.
Yeah. And, the other reason you could say that probably is, I think you're seeing what the lack of a bunch of experience on the offensive staff, you're seeing some of the problems that come with that. And on defense, at least Al Golden is an old head in the room. And then you have Mickens and these other guys, but you have him that I know seen a lot and has that big catalog of seen it all, been around the block. And so that's something to consider as well, as having that guy that has that experience, at least on defense. Listen, man, you put together a performance like this against the Heisman winner that clowned you last year in the position Notre Dame was in. You deserve all the credit in the world, because that is the exact performance that was needed. And not only did they just play solid defense, they made plays to win the game because the offense was going to struggle, and they made sure that it didn't happen that way. Like, they went over the top and made the game-changing plays. Great job, man. Absolutely great job.
Yeah, I can't remember in memory a performance like Xavier Watts put on by any Notre Dame defender in recent memory. I mean, that was big time. But
well, people
he did get his ass chewed out.
People are going to say Morrison last year, though, because he had more than one turnover against Clemson, and it was the same kind of vibe. So that's
it was
the
same kind of vibe.
Because you had a secondary guy in that moment that made a couple of those big plays. So that's probably it. And then Freeman yelled at him because he dogged it in the end zone and showboated, I think. And he stopped and bragged a little bit.
No, there's no question.
Yeah, I think that's what it was.
There's no question about that.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's why there was no question about that. I did see that on the highlights. And, come on, guy, you got to close that gate. And, but I mean, for the variety of plays that he made, I don't remember a Notre Dame defender making those big kind of plays in a game. So that was great to see. And then Cam Hart, they all stepped up.
Yep.
And they were playing a lot of the underclassmen too, along with Morrison. I mean, so when when the linebackers step up next year with Drake Bowen and Snead stepped up already. I think he played a hell of a game. And then you've got Drake Bowen, and you're going to see Jaden Osbury next year. That could be a dynamic defense in 2 years' time. It really could. So
yeah. But hey, Tom, we got what the doctor ordered, man. The only medicine
we did.
The only medicine that was going to cure what we were going through was to win this game by hook or crook or any way you could. And the fact that it ended up being dominant on the scoreboard is a unpredictable, I think, outcome on the upside. And we needed it more than anybody could imagine. And it doesn't make up for Louisville. It doesn't make up for the Iowa State mistakes. But in this moment, Notre Dame did as good as they could possibly do. And that gives all of us comfort going into this bye. Tom, really great talking to you, man. Anything on the way out? I'm glad to connect with you. I know how much this one means to you. And it was a big deal.
Always.
Yep.
Yeah, it's funny because the group of guys I was with, they going into this game, should we go to the USC game? I said, yeah, you have to go to the USC game.
Yeah.
Now we got 30 people from the neighborhood going to the Pitt game. So
yeah,
it's exciting. I'm glad we got a bye week, so we can all kind of relax. There's a huge game in the Catholic League, and it's number 1 and 2, Carmel and Loyola this weekend. So that's what I'm going to be doing, and it's nice to have the week off, I got to tell you.
Oh,
and please, I wish they'd stop going to Ireland.
Tom,
Don't take those trips anymore.
I need the week off. I'm done with the Ireland
Me
thing.
too.
Unless you're going to build a bye in it somewhere near it or right at, I don't need it. It's extra you don't need. And Tom,
exactly.
Tom, I need the bye bad, dude. Like, I need one Saturday.
I know you do.
Dude, I need one Saturday where I can literally just do what I used to do and just drink beer and watch football and have no worries and no Notre Dame stress. Like, I'm really looking forward to it, man. Like, that's a vacation for me, just to have that one day this Saturday where I can relax like a regular guy. So, Tom, I'm glad
Amen, brother.
I'm glad you're doing well. Glad you're up and at it. And go do some scouting of the high school football and enjoy the bye week, man.
You too. Take care, John. Bye-bye.
Have a good one. What a nice guy, man. I love that dude. I love talking to him. I got it. All you guys are getting in. 618-818-469-707-859. You're all getting in on the first bank. 707, good morning.
Good morning, John.
I'm
very happy with this game.
Oh, I feel so good. Don't you feel good? And wait a second. Is your phone number lying, or are you in California, or is that just where your number's from, but you're not there?
I'm in California, the place you hate and the place you always rag on. and I'm ready to yell at you for that.
Hey, listen, when it dissolves in the ocean, I want you and your people to get out before it happens. What's wrong with that, man? I want you out, but give me a break.
I think Florida will go into the ocean before we will.
Yeah, they're getting surrounded
Unless
by
we
more.
get an
They're
earthquake.
getting surrounded by more angles in Florida. That's the problem with them. They can get eaten from all sides. You know what I mean? On that little hook.
Yeah, unless there's an earthquake and then Sacramento becomes beachfront. I don't know, but
yeah,
I think we're going to be okay here.
Oh, but man, I'm
But
so
anyway,
happy about this.
dude.
I needed it so bad.
And it was, to me, it was a thoroughly good game by everybody. Everybody contributed. I can't get mad at the offense when I mean, it's everything we wanted to see. We got to see Hartman throw deep for a touchdown, throw short for a touchdown to Jabron Payne, who made an outstanding catch.
That throw was
and then got into the end.
That dude twisted his body backwards, kind of, man. It looked awkward. He had to go back, and then he turboed it to make sure he got in. It was a great job by him. Great adjustment.
And the block by Greathouse is what allowed that, because if he gets that kind of twisted up and Greathouse doesn't put a body on that defender, then he's going to make the play and he won't get in. But so we got a short throw for a touchdown, we got a long throw for a touchdown, and then we got Estime with 2 rushing touchdowns, 95 yards. I'm not seeing a bad outing. We dominated the running game. Estime was insane. There's so many individuals that made really good games,
Hey, can I ask you this? I want to ask you this about Audric. I want to know if you read this story or heard about it. I heard that during last week at some point, Audric Estime went to Freeman's office and said, I know we're in a tight spot. What else can I do to help get this where it needs to be? And that means a lot to me. That means a lot to me. Like, every team needs a guy like that. Doesn't have to be the quarterback. Like, it just needs to be the guy that has that gene in him. And it meant a lot to me to hear that he went to Freeman and said, I know we're in a tough spot right now. What can I do individually to take the load off everybody else and carry more of that weight? You know what that is, man? That is a Notre Dame guy, and that is leadership. And I loved hearing that story. I loved it.
Well, it may be the reason why he got so much of the workload. I mean, we didn't get to see Love barely at all, Price barely at all. But that Price kickoff return for the touchdown was the clincher. I mean, that's what made the game a win, because SC kept on hanging around. All of a sudden, they were getting touchdowns to keep it within 11, but Notre Dame came right back on that kickoff return, and really, that crushed them. I mean, I don't think they were just starting to get momentum to where you're going to be like, oh no.
They were down by 11.
Don't let these guys get hot.
They were down by 11 at that point. So that's a touchdown and a 2-pointer and a field goal. And when you have Caleb Williams, that takes about two plays if they're going well on offense for them to get that. Here's what I liked, man. There were 2 different points there where USC scored, shortened our margin, started to get back in it, and then you hit the play action bomb to Tyree, touchdown. Boom. That is huge to get that momentum and extend that gap again. And then they get the big kick situation, score again, and then we go right back and do it. That's how you win games like this, of this profile, is punch, counter punch, punch, counter punch. I love seeing Notre Dame be able to hit back right when USC got back in it. Notre Dame said, no, you're not. And then they made a play.
That's right.
And the other thing is, this game featured more of game-altering impact plays that you didn't get against Louisville and you didn't get enough of against Ohio State. They were making game-changing plays, interception, short fields, a kick return. It was exactly what I needed to see for my blood pressure, man.
Yeah. And it was a well called game by Parker, I think. And everyone's given credit to Golden for making a great plan, and it was because the plan was to put pressure on them all game, and they did. But the thing about it that has made Golden's the same guy every week. Like you're going to get aggressiveness, but this time we had execution. So when everyone's saying Golden called such a great game, it was actually the execution. And Bertrand played out of his mind. Everyone's talking about Xavier Watson.
Yeah.
Certainly,
Bertrand had what, 11 tackles? I think he did it. Yeah, he was all over.
He was all over the field. I mean, he was all over the field. He tackled two guys at once on that one
Yeah,
sack.
and you know what else I want to give total credit to here? Somebody put it in the chat, and it was the next thing I wanted to mention too is just like the week before, it seemed like Louisville, their defense was in our offensive backfield. By the time the ball was snapped, it felt like the line was getting pushed back 2.5 yards and it was trouble. Our D line was getting that on them against USC. We were disrupting everything. Caleb was all messed up. He didn't have the time. We didn't allow him to dance around for 20 seconds back there. Really good job. Hats off to all those guys. They were firing off the ball, pushing that line back, and it's exactly what John needed to see.
Yeah, that Louisville game was an anomaly. They came out really flat, and they didn't execute. And that's, they got killed as a result of it. And then, Freeman making that fourth down try in his own side of the field with about 8 minutes left was a mistake. I mean, so I don't, we got to just get past. That was an anomaly, that game, because every other game, the defense has been great. And I told you that like 6 months ago, that we have such a veteran defensive unit. We're going to be a lot better than people were thinking. Like everyone was thinking the defense is going to let us down and the offense is going to be what we're going to be so good about, with this running back, offensive line and all this stuff. But I knew our defense was going to be up to the challenge. In fact, I knew our defensive line. I wanted to, Rubio was out for a lot of this year, but he's a very good player too. We lost a lot of good talent on that line to people leaving, that Jamion Franklin.
And you know what?
Yeah.
You're starting to get some good production out of some youth there as well. And that is a double victory because it's a win in the moment. And that's a win in the future too. And you're starting to see some of those guys emerge. Bubik Traore, right? Like he got a big sack there, right? Okay. That's a young guy making an impact splash play against your rival. And he's going to be around a bunch more years. That is a double win, a win in the moment and a win for the future. Absolutely love it, man. Like, I don't know how many ways is there to say you just needed this performance and you got it. And I almost never say that about Notre Dame.
I know, but then you saw that, Leofau and Sneed and Traore were all there celebrating and the game was still going, so you got to, and Freeman was right on that, like he called the timeout because he had to, but it would have been like no points. I think the clock would have been.
Did they think that they must have thought the clock was just going to run out and that there wasn't time to snap it again, no matter what. But Williams has so much experience. He's smart enough that he knew.
That's right.
A lazy quarterback, sure, maybe it would have ran out, but he's smart enough to know I got these guys. I know what I'm going to do.
And he had the whole offense lined up at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, and Freeman,
but hey,
Freeman was justified, and Freeman was justified in saying you can't have that, and then also yelling about the celebration before you're in on the scoop and score, all of that, right? So Freeman was trying to get on it.
Yeah, I think it was a really well balanced victory, team victory, because we were all worried about what does the performance do after coming, your second loss, and it was just flat, against Louisville. So we were all worried about what it was going to look like. And boy, he had those kids ready to play beyond the pale, like they were just, everyone was ready to go.
Yep.
And that early interception, it really kind of set the tone
Oh
you
yeah.
know, to what we were going to see.
Yeah.
We didn't know it at the time, but boy, that three interceptions in the first half. I mean,
yeah. And you know what else too?
it was just
The other thing is Notre Dame fans were there. It was USC. You know, you want to be supportive and all that, but coming off what just happened, you didn't know what we were going to get. Having that big of a
right.
play early, that tells the crowd, all right, we're in it to this week. Like, we're more engaged. Like, it just timed out the opposite of the Louisville game, where it goes our way early. You make the big play early. You seize the momentum at home. It was the inverse of what we had just seen. And again, it's exactly what I needed to have sanity. I'm so thankful.
Yeah, and they were still making plays. You know, USC was still battling us in the first half, even though it wound up to get 24 points. They were still playing hard, and their playmakers were making plays, you know, on offense. So, you know, like, we were bending but not breaking. You know, we gave up 6 points, about that last field goal. You know, that should have just had. They put 2 seconds on the clock, and they were able to convert. But, you know, otherwise it was 24-3. But you know what? I remember 1974. I'm old enough to remember that, and that's what I was immediately thinking when we went up 24-0 back then, and then Anthony Davis just killed us. I was like, oh God, am I going to see this? You know, it's happened. So I was worried, you know, but boy, you know, the defense just kept on executing, kept on pressuring. You know, it just was, to me, this was a very good win that I can't complain. I guess there's always going to be Notre Dame fans that are going to complain, but for me, you got to be able to take a win like that and be really happy about it, because it was a total team effort.
Yeah.
And the offense did what they were supposed to do. You know, like, they pretty much kept Williams off the field because of you know, their ground and pound with Estime. You know, it was just a very good overall performance by the team.
Now wait. I do have a problem.
Did they have a turnover?
I do have a problem with the offense. If you look at the draw, like, follow me here. If you look at the offensive, I charted this. If you look at the offense, not getting a short field with those turnovers, they went punt, field goal, punt, 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 with drives of 4 plays, 8, and then 3, 3, and 3. That's rough, man. So that's taking out when they got put in a good position by the defense. That's just rough, bro. I need better. And that's what I want to ask you. What could be worked on in the bye on that offense? How much can they do?
Well,
It needs work.
I don't see it that way. I think that the USC defense is a lot better than people have been giving them credit for, because they didn't really have to have them be the focal point, you know, because their offense was just so dynamic.
Nobody that likes USC could have ever figured in a million years their offense would be the reason they lost to Notre Dame. Like, it's just, it blows your mind, because that wasn't in anybody's mind that would be the dynamic. That's why they play the games, man. You never know.
Yeah, I feel like that the offense was able to do, you know, coming off of that game that they were so flat, I liked what I saw. I mean, they got the advantage of the defense giving them the ball, and good, but they also converted on it. They didn't just go into a shell. You know, they scored on the plays where they had to, when it was their ball within the 50 and within the 2, and you know, they got it done. And the offensive line was so much better than where they've been all year. I mean, they were just tremendous this week. And, you know, they scored, 4 touchdowns on offense. That's not bad. And then a special teams play, and then a defensive touchdown. So that's 6 touchdowns right there. You know, like, I can't blame them for anything. You know, you can say they had a punt and all that, but you know what?
Yeah,
so did USC.
I did just
unless
say
they
it.
turned it over.
I did just say it because it bothers me. Punt, field goal, punt. 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out, 4 and out. Come on, man. I can't do it against USC's defense.
Well, we're not.
I need
you know,
more.
We're just not superstars at scoring on every possession. But you know what? In in the course of the whole game.
How dare us?
You know, yeah, how
No,
dare you?
I
Really?
know. Yeah.
Because we played too well. You know, everything was, except for, you know, offense, defense, and special teams all came through. And, you know, our field goal kicker made 2 important kicks, you know.
Yep.
So
So,
I can't.
man, there's just a lot to be relieved about and a lot to be happy about. And it's fair to want improvement. 10-3 is a realistic possibility if you take care of business. You can't overlook Pitt, and then Clemson's going to be a battle. I don't care if people are not impressed with them or not. At their place, it's going to be a battle. So I hope Notre Dame can get their minds right and their bodies right during this bye and come out ready to go and get this in the clubhouse at 10-2 and then go from there. But hey, man, it's really good to talk to you. And I'm happy for you, California Irish fans. I'm happy for you guys out there. Wear that ND gear with pride, my friend. Great touch of base on a Monday. Thank you.
All right, John. God bless. Go Irish.
Have a good one. Go Irish. Stuck out there in California. Unbelievable. 818, let's make it great. 618-469-859 coming up after that. What's going on?
Hey, John. What's up, buddy? How are you?
I'm doing very well. I am feeling slightly more relaxed than normal on this week, and because we're on the bye and Notre Dame's big win. How are you feeling a couple days later?
I feel great. Are you kidding me? I feel wonderful.
Yeah.
Hey, quick question. Yeah, I don't hear you call. What is his name? The guy who's just on from California.
His name is Joe, I believe, but the phone number
Joe.
is connected to
Okay. I think I heard you say that before.
Yeah, Joe Long is what they email and what I know him as off here, but then the phone number is under a different name for how it's set up. But yeah, Joe, that's what I go off of, unless I'm wrong and he has an alias. Unless he has an alias, but that's what the name on his emails are when we talk.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few callers that, you know, call on a regular basis.
Yeah,
like
and then
me,
Tom was the first one. That's the Chicago regular caller scouting out the high school Catholic League. I love that dude. He's always, John, I'm going to the Catholic League games. I'm scouting it out. Rodney, we're a couple days out after this. What are any of your takeaways changed after the immediacy of the celebratory mood has calmed down, or where are you at now?
Well, okay. So what I was going to reference was Joe. I agree with them so often. It's not fun. I mean, there's so many times he calls in. I see exactly where he's coming from, and I agree with his thoughts. Like, I understand. We're Notre Dame fans. You want to see the offense play the way we think that they are capable of playing. I totally get that. We do got to understand that 3 of those possessions. One was a fumble scoop for a touchdown. Then you had an interception return to the 15-yard line, another one return to the 1. That's going to take away a lot of your offense if you're just looking at the big picture. I get that we had some 3 and outs. I get that. I get that Sam Hartman threw high.
Okay, now wait. I knew that was going to be the argument. I knew that, and that's why I pulled those drives out. And so I'm ignoring the ones that got a short field. So then that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other ones where you went 3 plays or 4 plays, and then one drive had 2 sets of downs. You did. Bro, 250 yards total against their defense is a bad night of offense. I'm sorry, it just is.
No, you're right. You're right. It's not. But I also will say, I think that situational football is a real thing, John. I think
that's fair. That's fair.
Compliment. But what I mean by that is, when you're playing the game and you're up by 21 points, you're going to call a different game than you would if you were down by a score and you needed to score. When Notre Dame was down 10-0 to Ohio State, I walked out of the bar. I was so angry. Yeah. I was like, I'm doing this team no good by watching this game, obviously. You know, and I come back and they scored 2 touchdowns, you know, and they take the lead. And, of course, you know how it's finished out. But the point is like they knew they had to come back in that game, and they did. And they had the fight to do it. And they went back and rewatched it, obviously. It's like at least watch what happened. So a lot of that was situational. Once they got up by a lot of points like that, they're playing the clock a little bit. Yeah. They knew they had US. I'm just saying, I want to give them credit where credit's. I get it. Does it mean that it was a good offensive performance? No. But they did some things this game they haven't done the past few weeks. I'll say that. Tyree had a good game.
Dude,
Faison is just
Rodney,
building on.
How long have we begged for more of those type of plays that get Tyree deep back there and cutting across the defense? Like everybody in America that loved Notre Dame was like, finally, that's what we've been begging for. Why can't you just try and even do that more?
It was a team win, man. I mean, so many players stepped up. I mean, and then you know what? What was great to see that kickoff return by Price. What was the best thing about that play was it was a splash play and it brought the house down. He ain't lost a step. Anybody was saying, oh, he might, he maybe lost a half a step because of the injury. Nope, not at all. That was the best thing about that, man. That guy, with him and Love coming back next year, I'm looking forward to this, to what's coming in the future.
Rodney,
we saw a lot of athletes on the field.
Here, I'm glad you brought that up. I tried to look at some national responses to this game. Not local media for USC, not local in our niche, but outside. And what a lot of those people were saying is they were going, man, I thought USC was the ones coming in here with all the wild athletes that are twitchy and fast and getting around and running around and all that. And they were going, but when I look at the game, Notre Dame was the one that was outrunning people. Notre Dame was the one out physicaling people. And it's just, and it's just great to see. And a lot of those guys for Notre Dame are younger too. And I also like that moving forward too. A lot of our most twitchy dudes are all young.
You can, if there's any question, I'll tell you I got to give him credit, man. And I think he's a smart guy. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes he annoys me, but he's usually right, and that's Josh Pate. The guy knows football, man. Yeah. And whatever we want to say about some of the recruiting rankings through his website and all that, that's not all him, obviously. I'm just saying, but as the leader of that, the front man on 247 Sports or whatever it's called, he's great, man. He understands. By the way,
he clowned us on the Louisville prediction because he went out.
I know he did.
He said the line is flipped and it should be Louisville by 6 or 6.5 or whatever, not Notre Dame. Notre Dame people killed him the whole week. Sure enough, it ended up being he was exactly right.
He was right. And he was right about USC. He was right about USC too. He said that
Goolsby was right.
He said, I don't think it's going to be as close as the score said. I think Notre Dame's going to win by more. And I mean, I don't think we all thought it was going to be 28 points, but I got to give credit to Josh Pate. He seems to understand the psychology of football pretty well, or college football. And that was kind of the main point I was going to call in about, John, is I think it goes back. We've said this a lot. I mean, you and I get this. I understand frustration. I understand elation. I get all that. Football doesn't work. College football does not work linear. It's not a linear sport. You're going to have fits and starts. You're going to did everybody that was saying, even if we blew them out, remember I said all scenarios are on the table this week. I could see what happened last night or 2 nights ago. I could see, that not happen, being completely the opposite. But what we all didn't bank on, we all thought Caleb Williams was going to have a great game no matter what. It's just that with the rest of the team step up and, no, that was the worst game of his life. We made him look sick. I mean, we really, really did. Everything he did was hard. We talk about how Notre Dame makes everything look hard. We made everything hard for USC that night. And so what I'm saying here, it's like Lou Holtz used to say all the time, is that you have a different team every Saturday. You truly do. The way they played against Louisville versus the way they played against USC, and Josh Pate said this, is this more about a physical tiredness, or is this more about mental and emotional exhaustion? He said because that theoretically a team should not have been physically prepared to play that game based on the 8 weeks in a row. So it might have. I think the whole midterms thing was a real deal again. Like, we don't look into that we don't understand that nearly enough, man. The fact that they were studying the week before for the midterms and they were on fall break, I believe. If I'm not correct on that, let me know.
I think the midterms were last week, and then now they're on break this week, I think is the way it's set up. I believe that.
So you mean starting Monday, they're on break,
yeah,
you're saying?
Exactly. That's what I believe it to be, yeah.
Okay, so what that means is they didn't have classes last week. They had midterms. So that grind was over. The worst of that grind was the week before. It makes sense. Look how they played against Louisville. And look what Louisville brought everything they could in that game. And I am not a least bit surprised. I even called that. I said I wouldn't be surprised if Pitt either upsets them or it's a really close game. And, of course, they upset them. I'm not worried. I shouldn't say I'm not worried about Pitt. I could regret those words till the day is long in another week or so. But I'm really not based that we're coming off the bye. I think we'll take care of that game. So I'm going to let you go, John. I'm just saying, I think understand fan base, understand Notre Dame fans. Things don't go exactly how it seems they should. Oh, it's just be this slow climb up, and it just always is improving. And it's always sometimes you're going to take a step back or 2 steps back and then take 3 steps forward.
Yeah.
Notre Dame took 2 steps back last week and then took 4 steps forward this week. I couldn't be happier, man. I wanted to say that bottom line because it was a team win. If there's anything that's happening with the difference in Freeman, and look, to give Kelly credit, he did have a good culture he created or helped create. I understand the players had a lot to do with that, but he allowed them to. Okay, I want to give Kelly credit for that. But it's even better with Freeman. You can feel it, man. They're building something, and it's a team thing. You're seeing guys step up in these big games, even in Ohio State, even though we lost that game, man. That was a team effort, that night. It took a team effort to beat Duke because we shouldn't have won that night. We shouldn't have. And it was a team loss against Louisville, to be fair. But that was a team win of the highest form, man. I couldn't be happier.
Yeah.
Honestly, don't know it couldn't have gone any better, man. Because if you're asking me, do I want to see Caleb Williams play well, but then us blow him out anyway because our offense plays real well? I would have rather seen what we saw. Because I think, again, as I let you go, I want Notre Dame to be defense first. I get it. We all want the offense to be better, but I want them to be a defense first team. I'll let you go with that, John. Hey, man, Notre Dame fans, enjoy this, man. Enjoy this.
Yep.
We don't see these things that often, man. Enjoy it.
Yep. Thanks a lot, man. Enjoy the bye week. I'm just glad we're all happy. Take care, my friend. Oh, man. Angela, good morning. When it wasn't your uncle, Angela, Rudy was at the game. I think he was at Notre Dame for this. I was seeing tweets with him. He was doing something, Angela. I don't know if your dad was hooked up with him when he was over there or not. But I did see Rudy. Let's see. I missed this. 23-45, always Irish art. Goldman runs a complicated defense. I'm thinking the guys are now finally able to handle it. Rotating and waiting for calls at the last second isn't easy. He's preparing these boys for the NFL. Yeah, thank you for the donation as well. Really appreciate that. 618 and then 469-859. 618, good morning. What's going on?
Hey, John. Man. I couldn't call in last week. But, man, what a big win this week, man. The one game that I had us losing, we wound up winning.
Telling you, man, it was exactly what we all needed. We needed it exactly to be what we got, and I'm proud of the guys. They did it, man. Proud of them. Everybody was doubting them. Everybody was worried, and they delivered, emphatically, man. I love it.
Yeah. Before I get into the SC game, man, one thing I can say, man, that whoever made the schedule, man, I'm so happy that Swarbrick is leaving, man, because, man, there's no way this schedule should have been scheduled like this before you get your first bye.
It was
that's
rough.
Just way too many games.
And I know you can't know there's no way to know Duke and Louisville were going to be undefeated and make them into 9 games. And I understand there's no way you could know that. But you still knew where Ohio State was on the schedule. You still knew where USC was. And you put the bye after it. Freaking week 9, you got a bye.
And man, that last week against Louisville, they just looked so physically tired, man. It's easy to get up for your rivals, but man, it's hard to get up for the teams that you think you could really beat. And then Louisville was one of them teams that they probably thought they could really beat and walk through, just show up and win. And it wasn't like that, and they looked physically tired. I mean, because it was really close until the fourth quarter.
Yeah, man, Notre Dame needed this performance. I think Are people surprised Notre Dame came out that fired up after they, even with the juice that comes with the rivalry game, we were looked out of gas and worn out against Louisville. And it's like, I wasn't expecting that to get better the next week, but they came out ready to go. It was beautiful.
Well, it was USC week, man. That's your rival. If you don't come out ready to go against your rival, whether they won no games or they undefeated, I mean, I would have asked to get Freeman up out of there if they wasn't ready to play USC. But
yeah.
man, him and the coaches got them ready to play against USC. And man, USC is what I thought they was, man. I think, man, I hope that they finish up 11-1 because that'll help us get to a New Year's Six bowl, man. And I'm hoping that they win their conference. I'm hoping that Ohio State win the Big Ten. I hope that Duke or Louisville win the ACC.
Yeah.
To help us out. That'll help us out getting to where we
Man,
need to
I'm
get
telling
to.
you, though, the most predictable outcome of all time was Louisville losing right after they beat us in their Super Bowl, and then they're out of gas, and then they get clipped the next week. That was the most predictable outcome of all time, man. They couldn't handle it. They got all high on their britches, and then they lost right after it. It's really frustrating, man. Like, it just makes you even more mad we dropped that one.
And then we get this week off to rest, and then next week we get back at it, man, and go ahead and blow out Pitt and show Louisville how you get it done against a team after a high win.
Yeah. So and let me ask you this. I know you're a man who consumes a lot of football. What is reasonable to expect Notre Dame to adjust with the offense over the bye week? Like, you're not going to get a whole new magic offense where we're whipping the ball all over the lot. But what is reasonable to expect Notre Dame to improve on in the bye that could look different against Pitt in a couple weeks?
Man, you gotta. And I'm thinking, man, you gotta go 50. You gotta have a balance it more out. I mean, and start passing the ball down the field because I'm looking at the game and some of the receivers were wide open and they weren't taking no chances of trying to push it down the field, man. You got to push it down the field. Nobody's going to respect your offense or any play action pass unless you push it down the field, man. You're not going to push it down the field. There's no reason doing play action pass.
Yeah. Nope, you're right about that. And the other thing is they are going to get more healthy. Like, Greathouse was out there kind of, but he is not healthy. Like, these guys just need the bye just to get re-centered here and get some guys more healthy. Like, it's just been rough. And then the other thing is, where's Merriweather in all this now? He's kind of not even like on the grid. Is that like, what's going on there? Like, I don't know, man.
I don't know what's going on with Merriweather. I don't know if it's just confidence. He done lost all confidence. I just kind of lost confidence in the offensive coordinator, to be honest with you. But maybe he lost confidence. Maybe he sees the same thing he seen last year. Like, man, this dude is too much like Tommy Rees, if not worse than Tommy Rees.
Yeah, it's just, there's got to be things you can expand. You could even run a bunch of the same plays, but just throw a bunch of window dressing to line them up different and have different numbers. Like, there's a lot of things they could do. I don't know. Somebody needs to take a deep dive. You have an extra week here. Now is the time. And you got to find enough that when you get into this final run of the season that you're in a better spot. I don't know. I don't have the answers, but they need to find some.
Yeah, they got to do something, man. It seems like, man, like you're doing the same thing Tommy Rees did last year. Matter of fact, at a worse clip than what even Tommy Rees every once in a while will take a chance downfield. You didn't bring Sam Hartman here to be 10-2. You brought Sam Hartman either to be undefeated or 11-1. And And it's kind of sad that they won't even get to the college playoffs with Sam Hartman.
Yeah, no,
We got to get a more explosive.
Bro, nobody brings Sam Hartman in here to have your playoff hopes done by the first weekend in October. Like, that is a big picture failure, even though we all want to admit Notre Dame has one of the toughest schedules in the country. Still a big picture failure to be out of that race by the beginning of October. Give me a break.
Next year, and well, you got to get them. I don't know what you do with the offensive coordinator spot, and maybe you go out, maybe you look at it, maybe Freeman look at it, but to me, you look at it like, man, I got to get a more explosive. If you got to sit down and talk to this guy, man, if you can't get more explosive, I'm gonna go out and get me an explosive offensive coordinator. Somebody's gonna push it down the field, no matter what. You know, I got these 2 young kids coming in. I ain't trying to go in the portal every year. They're gonna get an experienced quarterback to manage us. And you know, and I don't know if Parker got confidence in Hartman. Maybe you feel like Hartman is just a game manager. I don't know what's going on with that situation. But
yeah, but dude,
we didn't bring Hartman here.
We're sick of game managers. That's all we've had at Notre Dame forever recently, are freaking game managers, bro. I don't need that. I need somebody to make big plays like a big boy offense.
Man, we got three young quarterbacks that posted. 2 of them got big arms. I don't know about Carr. I know some guys who've seen him at the elite, what was it, the Elite 11 or whatever. They say that, you know, he's really accurate, but I don't know if he got the big arm. But the dude Nike Kid has a big arm. Minchie has a big arm, man. We got to push it down the field. You're not going to get explosive wide receivers. If you're talking about the wide receivers are slow, we're not going to get them explosive wide receivers without pushing it down the field. The Wingos and all them kids is not going to come to Notre Dame. They're going to overlook Notre Dame because they feel like Notre Dame is never going to push it down the field.
Yeah, it just doesn't look. You know what you're looking for when it's rolling. And Notre Dame in the passing game, it's just there's something. It's like there's something in the spokes. Like, it just isn't clicking. And I don't know whether it's just the receivers or if some of it's Hartman. I have a hard time gauging how to gauge Hartman. Like, is he not as good as everybody thinks, or is he a victim of the circumstances of Parker, the O-line being suspect at times, the play calling and having limited wide receivers, or is he a part of these problems that are limiting things? I don't know the answer to that. There's probably different levels to it.
I don't think he's a part of the problem. I don't think he's a part of the problem. I think that, I don't know, maybe Parker seeing the same thing that the NFL scouts seen, that, like, maybe just a game manager, you know, maybe he feel like that, you know. Maybe he don't have the confidence in him, man, and maybe he want his guy on the field, and I don't know who his guy is.
I'm just saying, though, how can you watch all that film at Wake and look at all the passing records that guy broke and then say that him in his 6th year is a game manager? Like, that's not what this was supposed to be. That's not what this was sold as.
It's almost like the Tommy Rees thing. I mean, all over again. I mean, Tommy Rees, you know, we're talking about him at Alabama, man, but, you know, he don't have a Sam Hartman at Alabama either. And so, you know, I don't know what's going on, man. I don't know if he is. I think the Parker hire was something just to quiet the storm, man. Like, we didn't get Ludwig. Let's quiet the storm by hiring this guy and getting it over with, and hopefully everything works out, and the Notre Dame fans will be like, yeah, you made the right hire. But right now, I believe that was more of a Jack Swarbrick type hire. It wasn't really, I don't think it was a Freeman hire. And with Swarbrick is leaving, Freeman needs to go get his guy. Go get the guy that you truly want.
Yeah.
If it's Gaduli, go with Gaduli. If it's somebody else that's out there that you truly, truly want, you might lose him as a tight end coach, but man, he's a hell of a recruiter when it comes down to tight end. But I didn't think the kid Carter Nelson would have ever visited Notre Dame again after committing to Nebraska.
Nebraska. Yeah, that was a big deal. That does show you a lot that kid committed to them and he wanted to be there and all that. Like it's all connected. It's all connected.
And I know that Parker has something to do with that, but man, this is frustrating, man, because I had him going 11-1 and making the playoffs, and now we're fighting for a New Year's Six bowl.
Yeah.
You know, we're fighting for it.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. But we got to get into the bye, get out of the bye, and lock it down at 10-2. That's the best you could do for now, and keep it moving, man. Anything else on the way out? Thanks, man.
Maybe Merriweather needs to do what maybe Merriweather and the receivers need to go into Freeman office and say the same thing. Look, dude, we're getting open downfield. Your offensive coordinator is not getting us the ball. He's not passing it downfield. He's making Hartman look for the tight end.
Yeah.
You know, we're open downfield. Stuckey is doing his job, he's recruiting his ass off. Man, we need to do something different at offensive coordinator. We don't need no more game managing offensive coordinator.
Yeah, if Freeman's going to have big decisions to make, and it's his tenure, ultimately his head coaching reputation on the line. He's got to surround himself with everything he needs. So we'll see how it goes, man. Hey, I want you to try and enjoy the bye and relax for a weekend finally, man.
All right, my man.
Have a good one. Thanks for the call. He always hits me up on a Monday. Bob Kelly donated $10 and said he wanted to call. I'll bring you up, but you got to call, man. I don't see a 770 up here. 469, you're up on the line. What's going on?
Hey, John, how are you?
I'm in a good mood, man. Notre Dame got exactly what they needed, and it warms my heart. I'm in a good mood.
Hey, I'm glad Notre Dame blew them out, because, man, I would hate to see what your mood would be like if Notre Dame had messed around and lost that game.
Oh, buddy.
We might not have you around anymore. You probably go and have a heart attack or a stroke or both. Or
I'm telling you, I almost didn't even want to think if it went the other way on us, what the bye would be like and what the vibe would be like. It would have been so toxic beyond belief, and warranted, by the way. That's the other thing. Warranted. Right. If we had, I'm not saying that would have been unfair. I'm just saying it would have been so toxic over the whole bye. It would have been misery. And I'm just glad the team came together when we needed it most, at a point where they could have just laid down, let everything go and just die. And they didn't. And I'm just very thankful for that fight.
Right. That, leads me to something. There's a couple of negative things I want to bring up, and then I have a couple of positive things that I want to close with.
Okay.
First negative thing, all the people after Louisville, all the people who are like, I'm out on Freeman and this and that, and fire Freeman, he's in over his head, all these things that people were talking about, they're supposed to be real fans and everything.
Yeah.
Man, I don't care how long you've been a fan. If you're that quickly just going to jump ship on a team because you don't like the way it's going, that's cool. Do what you do. But as far as I'm concerned, don't come back. Don't come back. When Marcus Freeman gets us turned around and gets this thing rolling, don't come back.
You know what I think, man?
As far as I'm concerned, you can't be that kind of fan.
Here's what I think.
You ride and die with your team.
Man, I've thought about this a lot because of the position I'm in and what I do and how connected I am to the fan base sentiment. What I think is going on is, I just think that there's Notre Dame fans that like, even if it goes bad and then we lose, it makes them feel better to be like, I told you so. I knew Freeman would fail or whatever. Like if even if they're miserable, they want to feel right about something. And then that's where you get all of the like, Freeman's not the guy, he's in over his head, this is going to fail and everything. However, I don't see those people coming back this week and acknowledging that in a year and a half, Freeman has just as many top 10 wins at Notre Dame Stadium as Kelly had in a dozen years. 12 years.
Exactly.
Kelly had two of these wins in 12 damn years. 12. Over a decade. Over a decade. He had two of these in 12 years. Freeman has the same amount in a year and a half. Now, if you want to rip Freeman when we play like shit, you got to credit him on the high side too. And I don't see those people that are saying Kelly was better acknowledging this.
And to hell with that comparison anyway. You're talking about a coach with decades of experience. Why are you going to go ahead and compare that to Marcus Freeman?
Well, well, I'll tell you why. Because those are the people that are going to say, you made a mistake. Kelly wasn't that bad. You should have held on to him, paid him more to stick around. Like, you can't go with Marcus. That was because the players wanted it. Whatever. But I'm just saying, if you're going to rip Freeman, and it's justified for Louisville and Ohio State and all that, you also have to acknowledge that Freeman is already getting better overall performances at a higher rate in these moments than Kelly did in 12 years. And you have to be fair and acknowledge that.
And I'll say, I don't have a problem with fans who are like, hey, this team isn't right. They need to be better than this. I don't have a problem with the criticism. My problem is with the check out, I'm done. It's, like, see you when you hire a new coach.
Yep. And do you
know
think,
what I mean?
do you think
those are the ones?
Do you think that those people had an awkward moment after this game because they spent all week on my chat giving me a hard time for liking Freeman and I'm right and he's horrible and all that? I wonder if those people, even though they're Notre Dame fans, were like, oh man, this kind of makes me look bad because I was out on Freeman and now he beat the hell out of the Heisman winner. Like, I don't know where those people fell. They may not even mean it, man. It might just be a coping mechanism and how they deal with the negativity. I don't know. He just dropped off. What the hell happened? You got me all mad and then your phone cut out. I did not do that. I'm still connected to the line, bro. You could call back. Rodney with the $2 hour. Thanks, brother. Golden, the best ND defensive game plan in 30 years. I don't know if it was the best defensive game plan. It was the best. It was really good execution. Think about it, you guys. The concept of thinking Brian Kelly was going to beat an undefeated Heisman winner and beat them. No, like that was not in the cards. So I'm just saying, if you want, dude, you could call back. I did not hang up on you. I think you lost service. I'm just saying there are ups and downs with this. It ain't a perfect operation. I'm beyond frustrated that the two games we lost, we could have easily won by doing basic things very differently in both of them. All of that's true and accurate. But you gotta also, if you're going to go on the negative side, you have to also balance the evidence on the high side. And the balance on the high side is Freeman seems to be able to get some of these higher level performances against these undefeated, higher level ranked teams so far with much more regularity than Brian Kelly has. And you could, whatever, that's just a fact. He has two in a year and a half against top 10 undefeated. Kelly didn't have that. Took him 12 years. 12 years to get that result. Freeman has in a year and a half. It is imperfect. We're not winning the championship. I'm not building Marcus a statue for that. But I do think you got to recognize it. 859, you're up on the line. What's going on?
Hey, John, how's it going?
I'm in a good mood, man. I'm in a good mood. This is exactly what Notre Dame needed, and they got it. And I hate USC and all of those arrogant people and the whole way they see the world and think and operate and move and their values and everything. Therefore, I'm against. And so I love it. I'm in a good mood.
I'm the same way, and I'm sitting here in my home while you're watching the game right now as we speak, and now I feel the same way.
Yeah, and it's getting in a vacuum. If you got this result from Notre Dame, we would all be thrilled no matter what. Whenever we got this in a situation in a year, we would have loved it. The fact that we needed it this bad in this moment at a crisis point, it makes it way more valuable to me. Like, you had to get this to keep the tip of that boat from taking on more water.
No, we needed it because, like, I'm kind of thinking back to 2014. Like, if we lose this game, this season might snowball from there. Like,
dude, that's the one.
It's just that important.
It's weird that you bring that up because that's the year. Everybody was going, dude, if this one goes bad, it's 2014 all over again. And I'm trying to block that out, bro. I'm trying to block that out.
100%. And, I mean, for this game, the defense, I haven't seen a defensive performance this impressive probably in a long time. And they made Caleb Williams look bad.
Yeah.
He was,
man,
rushing all of his throws, everything.
It was good to see. And you know what it felt like to me? Listen, he was a little off. Even the Heisman winner, you might have a night where you're off. Maybe I'm not saying this mocking them. Maybe it being a little colder and uncomfortable. Those guys all had the neck things on and everything because they were cold, which is hilarious. I don't know what it was, but Notre Dame deserves credit for the way Williams played a lot. They were actually getting pressure, making him uncomfortable, squeezing in the pocket, making him speed up a little bit. And even he can't be great in that situation. Great job by Notre Dame's defense. Good damn job.
I think the most important thing is they were catching balls when they throw it to them. Like, they were not doing that against Ohio State. And I think that was the difference in that game for sure. Like, we would have won that game. We had opportunities into that game.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just, man, we needed this. We needed this. The fans were on edge. It looked like things were going down. There's doubt with Freeman creeping in. And then this wasn't a national media thing, but in the fan base, people were saying, is Freeman losing the team? What's the buy-in going to be? Like, those started to creep into the media and social media. This killed all that. Now, I love that. There's none of this. Is the team bought into Freeman? Are they playing for each other? Well, like, all that. That you also killed all those narratives, because if the team wasn't playing for Freeman, there's 0% chance you could get that outcome. None. So that put all that to bed too.
Yeah, completely agree. And in terms of the offense, we're still questioning some things with them, but I like to look at the one possession that we scored that was not off a turnover. That possession, we ran 4 or 5 plays all out of shotgun. Audric Esime ran for 4 yards, 7 yards. They were all big gains, and then we just went play action. Tyree touchdown.
Doesn't have to be that hard.
I think that was the most important drive of the game.
Doesn't have to be that hard, does it? And it was at a time where Notre Dame needed a response as well, because it came right after USC, put up their score. That's one of the big things I like is the kick return and that play action bomb to Tyree were responses to USC closing the gap. And I love the fact that they punched and we counterpunched. I loved that.
No, the kick return was the dagger, but I thought the 2 drives before that, the touchdown to Tyree, that was the most important drive, because if we don't score there, they're only down 11, and they've come back before from down bigger than that. So I mean,
yeah, it's just, man. I mean, we needed this in that moment, and I just, you take a big sigh of relief. This is the one you had to have for every reason, practically and perceptually, big picture, small picture, whatever. Now my mind's starting to turn from how much better can Notre Dame get over the bye? What can they put in offensively to try and find more consistency and efficiency with what they're trying to do. It's 2 weeks.
Yeah,
There's got to be some improvements that could be made. I don't expect a whole new offensive scheme. That's never going to happen, and that can happen. But I need a little more, and I really hope they self-scout.
And this one drive is a small sample size, but they're running out of shotgun, which is a passing formation. So that's when you run out of pistol, they're thinking you're going to run, and they know it's coming. But when you're running out of shotgun, they're not ready to defend that.
Yeah. Yeah. And man, I don't know. And you got a lot of young guys on this team that make plays too. How happy are you for a guy like JD Price coming off a horrible injury, early in his career, to come back and have a game-changing play in the spotlight like that? Like, you just love to see it, man. That is such a good sign.
That was incredible. Yeah.
Oh, man. And he made that
was
one
incredible.
Cut.
My whole house was going crazy.
He made that one cut, and it was just boop. There you go, man. And it was one of those nights in Notre Dame land we don't get often where you go, damn it, everything went right for once. Like, we just don't have those enough. And then they're playing California Love while we're rushing the field. That's unbelievable. Like, dude.
Yeah, I didn't even know about that until
bro,
after that was awesome too, though. Yeah.
This morning, the kid that trolled Caleb Williams and tried to get a selfie with him when on the field posted a video of him running out there. And in the backdrop of it, I'm like, if that is the beat to California Love, I have to give Notre Dame so much more credit than I ever have for the way they operate stadium like game day stuff. That is the best troll job I think Notre Dame's ever done. Usually they're like above that. That is an epic troll job and one of my favorite songs of all time.
John, I think the bigger troll was the kid asking Caleb about his fingernails. That was the bigger troll to me.
Oh my God, dude. That's now it does get dangerous when you have players that are in a bad mood, just lost, and they're on the field, and then you have like drunk fans out there. That is a little dangerous, sure. And I don't advise. I would never be the one that would take it to that level. You got to be careful with that.
I would not either.
But for this night, I love the troll, baby. I love that California Love troll. That is fantastic. Grade A.
Yeah, and I mean, moving forward, John, like the season's not snowballing anymore, but can we prevent those no-shows like we did against Louisville? Where you got Pitt in 2 weeks. They like to come in and
now,
they like to make it scary when they play us.
Now, Pitt's weird, man. Pitt's like sometimes they're so bad you could run over them, and other times they're so gritty and like annoying they play you down to the last minute. Like Pitt and Notre Dame is weird in that way. Here's what I want to ask you: after doing what we did against Louisville, how can you sleepwalk into another game? Is that not your moment to wake up and make everybody realize you can't take anything for granted and assume you're going to roll over anybody? Like, it's bad enough to do it once. You certainly can't do it again.
It's a great question because I went to the Pitt game in 2012 where we won in 3 overtimes. And the week before that was the biggest game of Brian Kelly's career where we won at Oklahoma. So I don't know. I kind of get vibes from that. Like, will it be that again, or
Yeah.
Is it different under Marcus? Does Marcus, because I'm thinking with Brian Kelly, this USC game does not go this way.
Oh, dude, I'm all over that. I'm all over that. And the other thing I'm all over is, listen, people have been saying, John, I guarantee Brian Kelly wouldn't have lost at the end of that Ohio State game. He wouldn't have made that mistake and handled the end of the game differently and whatever. And I would say my response has been, I believe you that in those moments, Brian Kelly would have navigated those series better, but we would have been down by 3 scores, so it wouldn't have mattered. Like, I have a real problem. I have a real problem with a lot of people I've interacted with assuming Brian Kelly would add Notre Dame in the position Freeman had them against Ohio State to even be able to blow that game and it be close at the end. I think you're getting way ahead of yourself based on Brian Kelly's top 10 record in Notre Dame to even assume we would have been that close to be in position to blow that game. I don't assume that for a minute. There's nothing in Brian Kelly's history against top 10 teams here that suggests that you would have been in that dynamic again. Not so fast, my friend.
I think the important thing with Marcus is that he'll have the team show up for these big games. It's more going forward, eliminating those Marshall, Stanford performances, the Louisvilles, those games.
Yep. Nope. You're
moving forward,
right.
if we can eliminate those,
And so I don't know, man. 10-2 would be a wild ride to get there from where we've been at. But it's the only answer. You got to get it. And so you get right in the bye week and get ready for whatever Pitt's going to be, and at least that's at home. And Clemson's going to be tough, man. I know people don't believe in them anymore. Whatever. That is going to be a tough physical game at their place. Book it. No matter how good you think they are, it's going to be a tough game.
It'll be a lot like the Duke game, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Same kind of feel.
It's going to be tough down there. Anything else, my friend? Thanks for giving me a call. I really appreciate it.
No, I got nothing else. Thanks for taking my call. I've been listening to you for a couple of years now. Love the show, man. So
I really appreciate
keep doing what you're doing.
Hey, save the number. Give me a call later in the bye week or maybe next week when you think of what you want to see against Pitt. Thanks for the support, my friend.
Sounds good. Appreciate it, John.
Have a good one, buddy. Have a good one. Let's see if I can get my 469 guy back. I got you? You're back.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I had a network connection issue.
Oh, that's okay. You're back at it, my friend. Where were we?
All right. So you were asking me about if that was just a coping mechanism by some of the fans.
Yeah.
And that's a legit point. That's a legit point that, maybe it's just the way some people handle the way they, process disappointment like that. But to me, it's just, if you're going to feel that way, I mean, hey, whatever, but to go out,
but it can't be one way.
Just,
it can't be one way, dude, where it's only you're highlighting the negative and then you're ignoring the stuff that is on the ledger on the positive. That's the problem I have. Like the same people that were saying to me after Louisville, clearly this guy's in over his head. I'm over him. It's never going to work. 1 week later, they do something undeniably really impressive. And I don't see any of those people coming back and going, John, I got to give the guy credit. He's kind of balancing it out on the high end of what's going on here too. That's just not how it goes here.
Right. Yeah, that's why I think that, if you're going to do that, wait until the end of the season and see how it goes. But to isolate one game like that, number one, you're completely ignoring the fact that Notre Dame went toe-to-toe against Ohio State when a lot of people didn't even give them a chance.
Yeah.
Number two, they backed that really close, tough loss to a top 5 team, probably a playoff team. We'll see, maybe not. But they back that up, go on the road against a really, really good Duke team, and go ahead and pull out a win when everybody basically looked at them like they're dead to rights. So you got to acknowledge Marcus Freeman is doing things that you wouldn't expect a second-year head coach to do when basically everybody's saying he's in over his head.
Yeah, listen, nobody's saying he's a finished product. Nobody should have thought he was a finished product. You knew there was going to be a learning curve with a guy younger than me that has handed the reins to Notre Dame. The important thing is that he has the appropriate support and experience around him to help guide him in the areas that he has to learn on his own. And that's where the offense, you start getting worried and going, do we have a guy in there that's seen it all, been around the block to set things up, or what are we doing? So I don't know, man. There's good and bad, but Freeman's not a finished product. There's no way he could be in year 2 at being a head coach.
And actually, this is something that just like popped in my brain like right now as you're talking. I've been somebody that's really thought that it was a mistake to bring in a guy like Hartman when you've got quarterbacks on your roster you could be developing. But I wonder, really thinking about it, I wonder if Marcus Freeman is doing that right now while he's a young coach. Hey, I don't have enough experience as far as being able to guide this thing with an inexperienced quarterback. So I'm going to bring in a guy who's got experience while I'm still learning. Later down the road, I can go ahead and ride with the guy without experience and see where it goes.
Yeah, but I think Freeman, what generated this discussion is Scott, thanks for the $19 hour. John, love the show, even though you have undone years of physiological repair work due to the annual ND trauma. I'm back in the psych ward known as ND fandom. Thank you. Scott, welcome in, man. Jump in. Right when we knock off USC, get on board, baby. I don't even remember what I was saying now. My bad. I messed that up. I don't even remember where I was going with that. Do you?
I made the point that maybe Marcus Freeman brought in Hartman as while he doesn't have experience.
Got it.
He's bringing in a guy who's got experience.
Here's what I think happened. The year before, Freeman was looking into the portal, and Tommy said, I don't think I want that. We don't need that. We're good with Buckner. And that blew up in their face, and they got burned. And even if he didn't get injured, you had no idea if he was going to be good enough. And then after that, Freeman said, I'm never allowing myself to be that risk exposed again in the quarterback room. And he had his mind made up. I got to go get somebody, whether Buckner stays or leaves, I got to go get somebody more reliable. And I think that was a part of it because he tried to roll with what we had last year and got totally burned.
Right. I don't know. I just really feel like if that's the way it's going to be, then you're every single season going to be bringing in an experienced quarterback. You're never going to.
It can't be forever. You gotta hitch your wagon to one of these young guys and ride with them for a few years, and they all develop together at some point. The matter is, who's it going to be, and are they good enough to make it work? You got to do that at some point.
My personal opinion, if you don't do it this next year because you don't think Minchie is ready and you really don't trust Angeli, now you're starting to get in the guys. You've got CJ Carr. You've got the guy from Mississippi. I can't remember. Deuce Knight. You have those guys coming in. I think at that point you're starting to get the recruits that you recruited that you want. So then you can go ahead and look at who we gonna hitch our wagon to. Who's going to be our guy?
Yeah. But I would like to see them commit to a young guy, build around him, grow together, let those guys all grow as a team. I think that's good for Notre Dame, but it's got to be the right guy in the right moment. It is going to be a big decision for Freeman after this year. Are they going to look in the portal? Are they going to go with somebody we already have? Who's going to be in the portal? Who in the portal is interested in Notre Dame that would like to be? I don't know. That's going to be a big decision to make. So I don't know what way that's going to go, but I'm happy for the boys. I'm happy for Freeman. They needed this win and they got it. Anything else, my friend? Thanks for calling me back.
Yeah. Let me see. I don't know if I'll be able to bring it up in my mind again. There's a couple of the things I wanted to mention, but the main thing I wanted to mention, I got right off the bat. So, other thing, Jared Parker. I understand the frustration, and it feels like it's another, here's Notre Dame. They just don't have a regular offense again. But my opinion is he's looked pretty good in a number of games where you feel like there's something to build on. It's not like they're looking terrible against teams. Like, why the hell are you looking bad against terrible teams?
Yeah.
Why the hell can't the offense move the ball against terrible teams? So in my opinion, there's something to build on. You got to wait till the end of the season, see how the whole season plays out, and then let Marcus Freeman evaluate everything. If he decides to go a different direction, that's what he does. If he decides to stick with Parker, then obviously, he's a smart guy. He's not dumb. Just trust the guy who's leading the program until he's not, and see where it goes.
Yeah. Hey, man, I really appreciate the call. Thank you very much. Give me a call later in the bye week or next week when we get into Pitt. Let me know what else you come up with, man. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
Have a good one, man. 385, you're coming right up. Coming right up. Now, what is this? Let me look at this. Brian, New York. Parker is one step behind Freeman in his development as a coach. If you believe in Freeman, you should stick with Parker. Saw enough Saturday to believe he'll get there. Well, wait a second. Wait. I'm going to go the other way on this. Like, I figured, yeah, Parker would be one step behind Freeman. That's why Freeman couldn't afford to go with Parker. It's the opposite of what you're saying. It's the opposite. You already have a head guy that has a huge learning curve. You cannot sign up for half of your team to have a bigger one. I see that the opposite. Like, knowing Freeman has such a big learning curve is why you need to go the other way to protect him, not dive further into the inexperience. You need to go the other way. That's what unless I'm like reading this the wrong way, I see it the opposite. You know Freeman has a big learning curve. You can't afford more than one big learning curve. So that was why you needed to go get a guy that knows all that and has the experience. And Freeman's not an offensive guy. So it's even more important that you have a guy that knows what the hell's going on. You can't have multiple huge multi-year learning curves overlapping, bro. It's too risky. It's way too much risk. And there's a reason Freeman didn't want this. Freeman didn't want this. It was not his first choice. I keep coming back to that. Last call of the day, 385. Make it come alive.
John.
What up?
John, how are you?
I'm happy for once. I'm happy.
Great weekend, huh? Great weekend.
Man, it just felt so good to get this win and to beat them down that way. I loved it.
Let me tell you something, John. You know, I was born in the heart of Los Angeles, 10 years old. Like, I was born in the actual city of Los Angeles, not a suburb. Like, I grew up till I was 10 years old. I'm the youngest of six dudes, right? But anyways, so, you know, like I tell you, I moved to Salt Lake. I've been in Salt Lake for a while. But anyways, so when I hear you talk to the second caller, the guy from California, and I heard your post about everything that USC represents, everything you're against. And it's funny because, like I said, I'm an Irish fan, and Hollywood is fake and it's phony. And I was born in the heart of LA. So, you know, I'm like, how the hell do you end up in South Bend? And I'm like, well, you know, Mexican Catholic, you know.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm being a huge Irish fan. But back to the game and back to what that dude said and to what you just said a minute ago. Yeah, true. It's on two learning curves, especially on the offensive side of the field, right? Because we have too many weapons. You know what I mean? We have 5 running backs. We have great tight ends. And regardless of what you said last time, we do have amazing offensive linemen. We really do. I agree with that dude, though, man. I don't think we should come in with another portal transfer quarterback, man. I think we got to, at some point, trust our own recruit.
So then who's the guy who's the guy based on who we have in the building? And then with Carr coming in, who do you hitch the wagon to next year then?
I would go with Angeli. He's had, you know, the most snaps other than Minchie, but I think Minchie's probably the better athlete. I mean, if Carr can come in and beat him out, hey, may the best athlete win, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I really do think so. But, you know, I hear you say, and I said, well, we'll disagree. And, you know, and the other day I said I was a John Ramsey fan. What I meant was I'm a John Kennedy fan, meaning you. I thought your last name was Ramsey. I apologize, buddy. But I'm a fan of you because, you know what I'm saying, we bleed green and gold for the Irish, right?
Dude, I did hear you say that, but I didn't bring it up because I didn't know if you just misspoke and it wasn't a big deal, or if you were referencing somebody else and I just didn't get the reference. I do remember you saying that. How in the hell can you forget the name John Kennedy, bro? How are you going to forget that name? Of all the names in the world, you forgot John freaking Kennedy? Give me a break.
Oh, man. I know, right? Because, you know, I was so much in the moment, man. So,
yeah, no,
you know,
I know.
Go ahead. So I feel like, you know, I'm a John Kennedy fan, you know, in anyways, but truth be told, I said I do follow all the Irish sports. I really do, definitely a diehard Irish fan. But here's the thing: you keep wanting Andy Ludwig, and I understand that was Freeman's first choice. But man, like I told you, I live in Utah.
Doesn't have to be. Okay, wait. Doesn't have to be Andy Ludwig.
Oh.
Give me somebody with experience. Andy Ludwig was the guy. Andy Ludwig was the guy. But even if you take his name out and you're saying their offense is a blah, 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 but take that all out. It needed to be somebody with a vaster history of successful offenses and running them to support Freeman because he's a defensive guy and he's on a learning curve too. Didn't have to be Ludwig, but it had to be somebody with more body of work that could keep that on the tracks. I hope maybe I diverted your complaint here. I don't know.
No, I okay. Now with that, I can agree with you as far as to get us, because we don't, right? We don't want to see a Louisville type of, catastrophic game again. We don't, and that's the truth. But like when everybody refers back to Ludwig, for me it strikes the nerve because like I live here, and Utah hasn't had a high-powered offense since Brian Johnson and that Sugar Bowl, or Alex Smith, and that's the truth.
Listen,
it's the truth.
All right,
back to your second caller. He said our offense did what they needed to do. They scored six times based on what the defense did, right? They were able to complement the defense. So that's right. The defense played so freakingly amazing that they didn't have to be in their desperate, do this, do that.
Yeah.
They scored when they needed to because they did. And that look, and to say this, and I'll get off the Utah topic. That's why Utah always looks so good. They always have a monster running back, a decent quarterback, and a good wide receiver and a tight end, right? But they're not your Alabamas, they're not your Georgias, they're not your Ohio States putting up these ridiculous points. It's just that their defense, because Kyle Whittingham is like Marcus Freeman. He is a defensive-minded guy, and so like I tell you, I'm gonna get off that subject, but that's where I'm at. And like I said, I want to see the weapons we're bringing in. I want to be that Georgia offense. I want to be that Alabama offense. We're putting up points, and we don't have to. It's not just complimenting off our defense. We're a well-rounded team. But I think as far as Saturday, your second caller said the best. Like special teams, offense, defense. I mean, it was a great victory, man.
Yeah, no, it really was. And listen, I admit to you, I know myself well, and I can admit my biases or where I have like some blind spots. I am still upset about the OC thing because Notre Dame internally messed up. Notre Dame made mistakes in the OC situation, and I think it really put Freeman, a young coach that they have an obligation to protect and insulate, in a very vulnerable spot, and I don't appreciate that. Notre Dame dropped the ball with the offensive coordinator situation, and I really have no patience for that. Notre Dame needs to be better than that, the mistakes they made behind the scenes, and they put Freeman in an exposed position, and he's paying the price for it, and I have a very hard time getting over how this all started. That I admit that's my problem I'm having trouble with. Notre Dame messed up on some of this, and it's causing some of these struggles. That's all I'm saying.
And I agree because he did have his choice. And granted, like when I was like, all right, I guess that's good. But it would make sense though, right? Because he's so defensive-minded. And Andy Ludwig with his experience, it would have complemented the way it does here in Utah when they're playing big teams. And hey, we don't need to go out there and run up 60 points. We're going to run up 28 because our defense is so good. And our defense is only going to let them score 10, and we won by 18. I agree. But yeah, but like your caller said, let him trust Parker. I mean, let's see how the season runs out. Like me and you are talked about earlier, if we can finish 10-2, get that New Year's 6, and hopefully win a bowl and finish 11-2 in the top 5, if not the top 10. I think we're smooth sailing into closer to finally getting over that hump and, playing for a national title again, man. I really do feel that, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can see shades of that. You can see sparks of that, but like it's not
Yeah.
consistent enough that you could get it week in, week out, and enough that you're at that level. But every once in a while, you get these little sparks on the high end that you're like, you know what I mean? Like you get these moments on the high end when you're like, yeah, I could see where they're trying to build, but it's just not enough that it could be consistent.
All right. Well, there's been a lot of changes in the last 2 years. You know what I mean? Tyree to the wide receiver. You know, with the portal. I'm not happy about the portal thing either. You know what I mean? I'm in the quarterback. Your last caller did make a great point. But you know, if you were going to do that, and you might get upset with me, I love Sam Hartman. I love him as a man. He is a class act dude, man. He really is. He is a good quarterback. But I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I don't see any more. You know. Astronomical numbers, like more than what Drew Pine did. And people are going to probably agree or comment it, whatever, that's fine. But I mean, Drew Pine had some fight for being a shrimp. He had some fight. He won 8 games.
He did.
He won 8 games.
Man, I feel bad for Drew Pine, man. It was never Drew Pine's fault.
He's not even playing at Arizona State.
It wasn't even his fault. I felt bad for that team, man. There's nothing that kid could do, man. I felt bad for him. He did the best he could, man. And so, hey, can I ask you this? What are you going to do over the bye, my friend? I think me and you need to drink some beer together or something, man. I feel like, and by the way, everybody loves it when you call. They're like, this dude is different and he brings a good energy. So you're becoming a star on the call-in, man. Everybody recognizes you right away and they love it, man.
Man, I'm just an ordinary man trying to do extraordinary things, buddy. That's all.
Listen,
I love the fan base, man. And what I'm going to do to answer your question, I don't know, man. I might watch some other games. I might go on a hike, man. I might, who knows, man. I'll try not to get my blood pressure up, you know?
Dude, here's no, I don't know. Look who you're talking to. You think I'm an expert in keeping blood pressures down? You're talking to the wrong guy, buddy. Like, listen, next time you make it to Chicago or you make it to South Bend, you got to let me know because me and you got to meet up. I think we could cause some damage in the city. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm heading out there for Wake Forest. Like I said, I'm used to the cold. If you can meet me there, let's meet up, man. Drinks on me.
Oh, I'm telling you, dude. I'll write your number down. I don't know if I'm going to go or not, but you're the type of guy I feel like I need to meet in person. I think we could do some damage in a good way, man. Anything else on the way out? Thanks for calling me on a Monday. Where'd you go?
Sorry, John. Sorry.
Oh,
sorry,
yeah.
John.
Yeah.
John, let's enjoy this bye. Let's remember that these young boys, man, they're still trying to figure it out. They go to the greatest program in all the land. Truth be told, win, lose, or draw. And let's get ready for Pitt, man. Let's get ready for Pitt and cheer for old Notre Dame, right?
I love it, man.
Cheer for old Notre Dame.
Dude, I love your energy. I love your energy. Call me later in the week, man. I love that, dude. I don't know where the hell he came from, but the energy is just like, every time it's just there. I love it, man. Dude, are there people that really don't know the story now that's been out about Ludwig? Are you guys serious? Ludwig redid his contract with them. It had a bigger buyout. Notre Dame was operating off the old contract with a lower buyout the whole time they were doing all this, and had Freeman taking a guy on a date and doing all that. They were going under the old contract. Then they go to sit down and finish it, and they realized that the guy updated his contract with Utah and all the numbers were different. Then everybody was a mess. Everybody was a mess. The admin thought maybe Notre Dame, the football guys were playing games with them, not giving them the real numbers. Ludwig started thinking, you guys don't even run a real operation here. And then he had second thoughts. And then by the time Jack tried to mediate all this, and then convince the admin to pay the bigger number, then Ludwig said, you know what? I don't need this. You guys don't have your shit together. Epic fail. Epic fail. Horrible fail. Makes you look like an amateur hour operation, okay? And then I get an email from Jack telling me my passion's misguided and all this. You guys messed it up. They messed it up. and it screwed Freeman, and Freeman had to take all the bullets. That's the way it goes when you're the head man. Tom, check it out. Anybody want to join my tailgate for the pick game, let me know. That's a really nice thing to offer. Everybody in our group, you can meet up with Tom. It's just like a surrogate, always Irish tailgate. You know, you have people from our group. That'd be great, Tom. Feel free to let people know where it might be at as we get later into this. But all right, everybody. Thanks for being here. Victory Monday. I really appreciate it. Kind of lower stress entering the week here. Stay tuned. I have some very interesting stuff I'm posting tomorrow morning. Something new that I've never done. Posting tomorrow morning on the channel. Check it out. Thanks for the donations. Thanks for the calls. Thanks for the chats. Everybody have a good Monday. We'll see you.